Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Jordan Barrett, senior data engineer, Python enthusiast, and tinkerer of LLMs. He's here to talk to us today about a recent project he built out tackling government Jamaican bonds and how to construct yield curves. He's crazy. He's cracked on the front of finances in Jamaica. Crazy. I love the work that he's been doing on LinkedIn thus far. I had to bring him on the pod to showcase to you guys how to leverage AI in a different kind of a use case. You know what I'm saying? So, Jordan, can you give us a brief introduction to who you are and what you're going to be showcasing to us here today? Like, what can people get from this? You know?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for that introduction. Honestly, I'd say I'm a pretty light user of LLMs. It's just that I've been using them for a while now. I started playing with them. I want to say when the OpenAI Playground like first got released, and they had like GPT-3, which was at that point like it was just called like Da Vinci. Like they had Da Vinci and Da Vinci Instruct and Ada and Babbage and that kind of thing. Um, So yeah, I've just been using them for a little bit, so I found them like really fun. For a lot of use cases that are relevant to my niche, which is largely kind of data hoarding. Especially like when the data is hard to get, which happens to be the case for a lot of Jamaican data sources. So like the format might be like in some PDF document, which is actually just like an image pasted in there, um, or on a record by record basis, you have like slight tweaks in the formatting. So like LLMs are like really really useful for that kind of thing. So I'm pretty happy to kind of showcase different ways that they can get implemented for that. So I guess what I'll be walking through
Mhm.
is how I use them for this use case, which was like generating like a yield curve for like Jamaican bonds, specifically like the bonds issued by the Jamaican government or
Mhm.
domestic bonds.
Could you give us a breakdown of what like a bond is and why does it
Yeah, yeah,
like why should I buy a bond? Like, what even is a bond, man?
yeah. So a bond is just like a promise to repay. So when the government issues a bond, promising to repay you the principal, plus they can pay a coupon on that bond. If it's like a 5% yield and you invest like 100 grand, you get like 5K per annum, which can be paid out like as actual cash, or it can be paid out like alongside the principal. So what's interesting about bonds and bond prices, when I say bond prices, I mean like the yield at which they're priced at, is that you can kind of use that to figure out like in the short term where interest rates are headed, or at least you can kind of figure out where they're headed in the short term. Because like for instance, these are a bit these are a bit dated, but you have like a 3 month treasury bill, yielding 5.19%, and you go on the BOJ website, and I think that they're maintaining right now the policy rate at about, I want to say it's 5.5 still. Is it 5.5 still? It's
Let's see.
5.75. It's 5.7. Typically, bonds are priced such that like the average yield over their tenure um will be in line with what the expectation is for interest rate over that similar tenure. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes the market misprices. So the bond prices can be higher or lower than the expected interest rate. Um, but this is around like where they'll hover, like the policy rate. Because that's like that's kind of like a price floor for the buyers. So like they can technically get like a better yield or return by just leaving their money at the BOJ, as opposed to like seeking out any other investment. So that's kind of why they're relevant. So like you can use
Mhm.
this curve to kind of try and forecast where rates might be in the future, which
Mhm.
is relevant to like anybody in finance, um, or anybody that like has like is trying to like time the market or anything like that. For instance, like if you can, if you're predicting that like interest rates are going to like fall a lot, like in the next couple months, maybe you like go heavy into equities because like equity prices would be depressed while interest rates are high, and then when interest rates lower, you typically like observe like asset price appreciation, so you might get like a decent return. Um,
Okay.
as as I warn, I'm not like a finance guy.
No, yeah, yeah. That was the most unconvincing.
I'm
Like, oh, I'm
not a
not a.
finance guy. Wait, it's like interesting, like conceptually.
Oh, it's cool. It
Yeah,
shows persons that there's different types of investment opportunities out there for them, especially in
exactly.
Jamaica.
And it's not. It's actually not. So why this is like something that I would even want to do, like generate this curve, is because bond prices are not like easily observable here. Like like you can go on the JSC and you can like look at the composite like index and see like
Right.
how prices have been like performing like over the past 2 or 3 years. You can't do that with like bonds. You kind of have to just go on the BOJ website. You open up the PDFs to see what the results were, like the Treasury bill results from like the Treasury auctions. And obviously, this is not like a good use of anybody's time.
No,
So
definitely not. It's the
and then
most.
like you can set this is like a PDF. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have any like borders between the cells. Sometimes like there's two columns, sometimes there's three. So this is like a really good use case for LLMs because like it's legible that you can very like as a person, like a human could like look at this and just write it down. For like a typical like table extractor, also them really struggle with the variation. Also, they don't know like column headings or anything, so it would be like a bit harder to like kind of automate this with like a regular deterministic like script. So this is like a very good use case for an
Mm.
LLM because it can deal with that variation, like although it's like very slight. So we can like
Okay.
just like scrape
So
all
you're
these.
saying that you're able to, yeah, pull all the data, like you're able to scrape all the data from this Bank of Jamaica website and then be able to generate the curve from there?
Yeah,
That what you said?
exactly, exactly. And all the curve
Oh,
is
okay.
showing is
Okay.
it's just like the yield versus the date at which it will mature. So like you can observe like an upwards, like it points upwards and to the right because as the I guess there's a time value of money. So like as the data, the security like stretches out further into the future, you have more uncertainty. So investors will demand a higher return. So you can actually just observe it. That's like something that you learn in like it's like a financial fundamental thing. So it's cool that you can actually observe that in in the market. So it's just like showing that hey, high price bonds like this one that matures in 25 years, so 2050 bond is yielding 7.9%, and then one that's expiring in 3 months is yielding 5.19%. That's cool. You can see the spread on it and that kind of thing. Which would be pretty hard to do by like going through them individually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so sick. So let me try to get wrap my head around this a little better as well.
Mhm.
So we want bonds with higher interest rates, is what you're saying on them, so that way we're able to get a better return. And that's one. And two, let's say for instance, the bond rate is high. Does that mean that there's a risk imposed on it or not?
Let me see the first question. What
Mm,
we're trying to do
yeah.
is to observe where the prices are. Like
Mm,
I mean, I'm kind of ambivalent to what the price is. As an individual, you want the highest return, sure, but
for sure.
I'm just like a market observer for this specific use case. So I just want to see like where the prices are, or where the yields are. The second question was if a higher if a bond with like a higher risk would demand a higher yield. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, typically. So government bonds are risk free, meaning like they could never default. Like like theoretically speaking, that's
Yeah.
their price. Like if you're doing like if you're doing some kind of modeling, like to value equities or real estate, the cost of capital you typically use would be like the government bond prices, because that's supposed to be like the
Mm-hmm.
floor. Because that's the safest investment that you're comparing it against. They're not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every government can default. There's always like a default risk. That's not in there because like, that's technically not like in there priced in. What we're really pricing in is the time value. So like there's interest rate risk. That's what we're concerned about. So like as it stretches like out further and further into the future, it's like harder to tell where interest rates will be. Like an investor would not want to buy a bond yielding say 8% if in 2 years interest rates are sitting at 10%. That means that they're losing out on like 2% returns. So that's more like what
Yeah.
an investor would be concerned about, and why you'd see like bonds with like longer tenures priced at higher rates. That's, and the money is locked up for longer. So that like obviously would demand like some premium. um
Yeah, some kind of security, you'd almost say,
yeah,
to be
yeah,
able to
yeah,
do all. Wow, that's
exactly,
sick.
exactly,
Wow, I just
exactly.
learned so much about bonds a while ago.
It's
It's
actually
crazy.
pretty cool. I mean, bonds are for sophisticated people, right?
Ah,
It's like,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Other investors like talking about bonds because like they get to actually like flex like their macro muscles, and pretend as if it all actually makes sense.
That
um,
is so
but
true.
yeah, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Mhm.
Definitely like theoretically, it's cool.
Take me through how you pull this data down. I'm so
Yeah,
curious
yeah,
to see. I would
yeah.
love to
So I'll
show the people.
start off with like the ideation process. So this is how I use LLMs. I don't trust them very much. I think they're fallible. We're fallible as people. In the same way, like, if you contract someone on Fiverr or Upwork, you want to be like very, very clear as like what the requirements are. I have the same approach with LLMs. Like I know like the thing is vibe coding now, where it's like, hey, like you just kind of get into it and like you see where it leads you. I'm a bit more stringent with what I'm looking for. So I have like a clear idea, and I kind of want to get it as close to that point as early as possible because I feel like it wastes less time for me. Also, I get a chance to actually think about what I'm doing. So I'll construct like a requirements doc, and then after I don't make it generate the code like immediately from there. I have like a conversation, like like what's the approach that we want to use here? Like, what's the trade off? And then like meaning me and the LLM, kind of decide on like a path to go. I'll take that. I'll probably like put it in like one or two, three different LLMs. See who like see which one of them gives me back like a solution that looks pretty good, which is like straightforward, not riddled with like over complexity. Because like a lot of the times they will opt for like a overly complex solution.
The time, it's crazy.
So like you want to kind of narrow the scope as much as possible with them. So this is how I try to. So this is like a 5-page document. So I start off with like, hey, this is what we're doing. We want to retrieve like financial data from the BOJ, and I'll like take screenshots, which is cool because like the cool thing about multimodal models now is that like you can just show them an image, like you can use the arrows and all that, and they'll get it. Um, can like say like what the steps are
Hmm.
that you're looking to accomplish, how you want to be saving the data, what model you want to use. Um, what's interesting is that like you're using an LLM to design a solution that also uses an LLM. So um, that's pretty interesting.
Very meta, isn't it?
It's very meta. It's
It's very.
it's yeah, it's like recursive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what a typical use case would look like for me. Like, you give it like a negative
Mm.
examples, positive examples. You treat it like a person. Like like if someone is like pretty smart, and you want them to do a good job, then you just give them like clear instructions. And I think
Right.
as people like you start using an LLM, you're like, hey, this is like a magic box, and anything I throw at it, it will like spit out, like something that's like PhD level, like or like something like an MBA grad would make, just like from any. But it's like the paradigm still like still exists where it's like, hey, the lower quality stuff you feed it, like the worse quality stuff you get out. So like, garbage in, garbage out, like still maintains.
No,
Um,
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I'm loving this, by the way, this requirement stuff. This is exactly how I go about doing
mhm,
my projects as well. Like, there's no, like, for instance, with the work that I have with my clients right now, anytime I'm going to tackle a bug or a implementation or a new feature to be added, I always scope things out. One
mhm,
thing I'll say though is that I've never done the X's. I've done arrows before, but I've never done X's. That's a good reinforcement, which is good. I'm gonna start using that, which is sick.
mhm.
Like just being like, this is not what I want, and this is what I want, as like inputs, output versus outputs. So that's sick. I'm gonna start doing that as well. But yeah, man, I don't subscribe either to the concept of vibe coding. I do appreciate it because it's getting a lot more persons on board. But I think that if you could at least learn the syntax of what you're doing, then oh, it goes a long way. You know, if you're
Yeah,
able to at least understand what you're looking at, that's great. And then you can then I can say you can start really vibe coding because if you at least know, for instance, Python in some regard in terms of how it like how the things flow within the programming language
mm.
goes a much longer way. But definitely, if you just want to get your feet wet in the Lovables and the Bolt.news and the Viziers, go ahead. But if you're trying to build out something a bit more robust, I think that this methodology of going about doing it is so good, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even care about the code really. I mean, the code is just like a way to express the solution, right? Like that's all it is. I've never like felt in any particular way married to a language. I like Python because like it's easy to read. That's it. Like it's easy to read. And there's like a big community around it. That's like it's just a way. It's just a tool, right? And I think LMs are also a tool. I don't think necessarily people need to take like a ideological approach to problem solving. Like I am a C guy. I'm a C plus plus guy. I won't use LLMs because that makes me an unserious person. Like it's just a way to get to the end, which is like building a robust solution that solves the problem. Um,
Only if more other developers thought like you.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I do appreciate it though. I mean, like the passion that some people have, which is like this is my craft. I don't want to deviate, and there's something to be appreciated from that. Um, but I think like for most of us, we just kind of want to get to where we're going. So yeah, this
100% every time.
So if you can use like plain language to describe like these are the conditions, this is the procedure, this is what we're doing, then I'd say go for that. And you probably won't even need to learn how to code. I mean, probably should because like the LM is going to inevitably like spit out something at you that you might not understand, um, and not know why it's a bad thing that it's doing. For example, if you're doing like a lot of web scraping, you might want to use like async syntax. LLM by default might not use that. It might like opt for like a simple iterative like single core approach. Where it's just like single threaded, like just going web page by web page, and that could mean that like if you're scraping like 5,000 sources, that could take you like 2 hours sitting around and waiting. Meanwhile, like if you use like a slight variation or suggest a slight variation, you could end up like finish something in like a minute. So like if you know stuff like that, it's really helpful to just like know what is a good practice versus a bad practice. That would be like the one reason I'd say like, hey, you should probably still learn how to code. I mean, it's not it's
Like maybe, just
maybe
perhaps.
maybe you can learn a few things and then
Hmm.
yeah.
No,
um
for sure, man. I agree. So what I do sometimes is that
mhm.
like I'll open up another chat and I'll be like, yo, based on industry practices, like, is this good? Is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fact
yeah.
that
You can also like kind of make them
yeah, yeah.
critique each other. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'll make sure to ask like another model. Like I'll write like let's say I'm doing a new implementation, I'll do it with Claude,
Mhm.
and then I'll ask like GPT-5. I'm like, yo, is this okay? Like,
Like,
is
what
this
do you think?
govern?
Yeah,
because I'm not as versed as like the next somebody in terms of like web development. That's my I'm not as good. I primarily code in Python as well. So
mhm.
I would love to know if what's being put out on my websites and my own website, if it's if it's good, if it's robust, and if it's secure for the users who plan on using it, right? So definitely, I always fact check it. I always go through like little security checks, little optimization tweaks by just asking another
Security
LLM.
checks. Yeah, security checks. Like what was the app? T. I'm pretty sure they
Yeah,
buy. I
no, no, that was absolutely fun. Funny story about that. The guy who built it, he had never had any coding experience before he
think he went
started.
to like a boot camp, right?
Yeah, ten
Yeah,
week boot camp. Like that's
yeah,
all he
yeah.
had, and he vibe coded it.
I
That's
mean,
so
like
cool.
power to him for getting like the market and like launching the product. But yeah, you kind of want to not have all your user data exposed on like a public
Yeah,
Firebase bucket.
yeah.
That's
Like
probably
perhaps.
maybe a slight tweak. um, and funny enough, geez, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
all right, yeah.
Oh boy.
There is an app right now, and he's probably going
Mhm.
to get mad that I'm saying this to you right now. But there is like an app that is currently popular. It's new and it is being used in Jamaica. I won't say any more than that.
Okay. All right.
And there is really sensitive data there for the public, and it's the same thing. Like a fire,
Re.
it's the same thing.
Yikes.
It's the same thing. So it's like no one is learning. No one is
Oh,
learning.
oh no. Please I hope this user is watching it and I hope he gets that data fixed and secured. Or you tell.
The
That's
developer,
crazy.
yeah, I mean, they probably won't, but yeah, I can't think.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just funny. It's just
Mm-hmm.
funny. So yeah, like using LLMs to critique each other is like definitely a good practice. But you know what's also funny? It's that I feel like now that a lot of code is produced by LLMs, it's kind of like a self reinforcing loop. Like because like what they consider best practice, I feel is just like what's out there.
No, of
So like
course.
if the code is like, I mean, I know that um like OpenAI, Anthropic, like they'll actively seek to minimize the amount of artificial sources they're using, or if they do want to use like an artificial source, they will they'll be using one of their models to produce it. But what I'm trying to get at is that I feel like in time, a lot of the best practices will just be like what other LLMs have spit out, and then just kind of narrows into like this one way of like writing code and like using specific libraries for a given solution. And I feel like then that we might lose something in terms of I guess
Creativity.
yeah, creativity, and I guess the range of solutions at hand, or of like tools at hand, that I feel that gets constrained over time, as it all kind of gets like samey.
Mm.
And like this is like what is that? It all kind of like it's like this one way
A
like
singularity.
yeah. It all really looks the same. Like the syntax all kind of starts looking the same.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you
Yeah.
like, it has like a specific way of like writing like a React app, right?
Hmm.
Or like using Python code, or even if you try to like call an LLM from another LLM, or like an LLM is using code to call an LLM, you kind of get frustrated because like the syntax won't update, like the actual documentation gets updated, where we don't use like these parameters anymore. This has been like changed, but
Yeah.
because A, it was trained on like a specific way of doing it, and
Hmm.
B, the actual data out there like has like a lot of examples like showing how to do this. Then you kind of it creates like two pressures, which is like one, you kind of want everything to stay the same,
Yeah.
and two, like you get comfortable with like only doing things a specific way. So like I feel like developers are going to get less and less motivated to like doing like library revamps and that kind of thing, because like if everybody like that's consuming your library is expecting it to be done this way, and they don't care to actually like visit your GitHub. They just want like a LM to spit it out. Then then yeah, I feel like everything's going to be this bit like samey, gray, gluey, glue glop. Um,
Yeah, it's gonna, no, for sure. Where it's, you can even see it now. It's
Mhm.
slowly starting because even now, like when I'm coding, like a lot of the times I have to be using external resources to like kind of connect my line
Yeah,
code
yeah,
vibe.
and
Like
that adds a
it's
lot of
happening
headache.
already.
But I feel
It's
like if you're
happening.
lazy, you're not going to do that. You're just not.
Oh
You're not
no,
going
no,
to.
definitely not. Like I have to be using context 7, the ref MCP tools to be like, hey, that's not the correct documentation. Let's bring in new stuff
Yeah, that's very, that's
and
very new stuff.
perhaps and go from there.
Or
Hey,
you should like a blog post. Yeah, and you're like, hey, maybe you want to.
like yeah, like let's try, So it's for sure a concern. It's
Yeah.
definitely a concern because I feel it even within myself a lot of the times because even like because I work more as like a reviewer now because I know I've been doing
Hmm.
this for a while now, like 5 6 years now for like coding, and
Hmm.
so I know I kind of have a good gist and an idea of what at least somewhat good Python code looks like. And at this point, I just act like a reviewer. I say these are my inputs, this is what I want to happen, these are my outputs, and I just kind of let it spit, and then I'm able to gauge, is this slop or not based on my
Yeah,
own past experiences for sure.
yeah, yeah. So I think like human input is still pretty valuable.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
so I mentioned like I'm using an LM to call another LLM, and I want
Mhm.
to take like a side a side adventure kind of like and that's like how I determine like which LM I want to use for this
Oh
task.
yes, please talk about that.
Um, so in this blog post like that I wrote this LinkedIn article actually,
Yeah.
like I wrote about like reliable LLM usage,
Hmm.
and like one of the things that I tackled was like how to figure out that an LLM is like good for a specific use case, and how I did that was through like benchmarking. So for instance, like I had these tasks that I would have
Yeah.
tested like a few models on, and one of them was like treasury bill extraction. So like I would have given this to all of the models, and we can kind of look at the performance
Hmm.
here. Average accuracy, right? So we can see like the accuracy heat map.
Hmm.
Let me see if I have that. Okay.
Nice.
Um, yeah. So like we can see, for instance, that you know um Gemini 2.0 struggles with some of them, but every single one of them basically, aside from like the smallest model at the time, which is like 4.1 nano,
Hmm.
got it right. So I was like, okay, I could use any one of these for this. I still went with 4.1, because well, I went with 4.1 mini actually, because as you can see, like, the performance, except for like this was the toughest task. Its performance was like 100%. So I was like, okay, this is what I'll
That's
nice
actually
achieve.
great.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
that's
was like
actually phenomenal. Wow.
surprised. I don't know what happened with 4.1 here on this tourism attractions extraction task, but it did not get it. Which is
Hmm.
like pretty interesting that like the bigger model would have a hard
Fail.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Or like even Gemini, like which is like larger than 4.1 nano.
Mm.
Well, 4.1 mini, right? It still had a harder time. Very very interesting.
Very
What
interesting.
I
I'm
also
gonna.
observed is that like the larger models struggled a little bit on easy tasks. I think because they're too easy and they did like the overthinking thing.
Yeah.
Did you read or have you read like the Apple paper that came out like 2 months ago?
No, I have not. I saw it, but I'm just quickly skimmed. Could you give us a breakdown on what it
Yeah,
was
yeah. So
about? Like, tell
basically
us.
they did like some testing that revealed that on lower complexity tasks, smaller model can meet or exceed the reasoning models, and the reasoning models would be like the ones that have like the thinking mode.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, and what they suggested is that might be like they're kind of like thinking too much about the problem. So like they get to the solution and then they still keep going. So they end up digging themselves into kind of like the wrong hole.
Mm.
So that was pretty interesting to actually like observe that like empirically, like in my own testing. So that's why I decided I wanted to use like 4.1 for this given task, and like building your own benchmark is like pretty easy. Basically just you just want to ensure the syntax and the task is the same across each model, so you can like properly compare it. You don't want to like be doing any variation in like your input to the LLM, because then it's like very hard to get any kind of signal on like who's actually performing better than others. So like a lot of the times I know people will a new model gets released, they have like a question that you normally give it, like to kind of say, okay, is it smart, is it not smart? You have like a tough question, you usually have like saved. That's a good way to kind of gauge it, but you like to do it like in a more reliable or like a scientific like approach. You probably want to have like a range of questions, and then you want like an actual like metric that you're trying to target. And that's like that's probably the best way you can go about evaluating or comparing across the models.
Was there like a specific platform, a specific like model, like library that you went to use for these evaluations, or you just kind of did it?
Yeah, I just did it by hand because I was
Mhm.
like, what I'm looking for um is like particular. So like, obviously, the you have like tools that are out there that I think weights and biases, for instance,
Yeah.
like they have their own stuff. But I had my own specific items I wanted to benchmark them on. I knew that the models slightly varied in terms of what kind of input they'd expect. Like some of them don't deal with like JSON formatting the same way. So it's like
Mm.
this is probably better. I just roll it myself. And also my criteria. Right. What's my criteria? I'm not like it's either you get it right or you get it wrong. Basically, like does this match with the specific like correct version that I've defined? And also like X amount of times, how often are you getting it right? That's kind of what I wanted to get at. And if I built my own, I was like, okay, I can maintain this on my own, like independent of anything else. Obviously, like if you know of like a very good like benchmarking platform, I would say, and you're comfortable, like use that, like by all means. The approach should always be that, hey, you have a specific metric that you're targeting that you can use and compare across the different LLMs. Like that's it. Like everything else, like those are just details. And what's important is that you can objectively compare.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. All right, man, that's sick. I'm definitely gonna be incorporating more evaluations because I've realized the benefits, like you're saying, man. Like
Yeah.
being able to get this heat map, oh, it's so good. It's so
Yeah,
good.
and
So I'm
you
gonna
can
be.
like somebody asks you like, hey, I have this thing. What model should use
What
it?
model should I use? It's
Yeah.
all.
You always get that question and it's like, I mean, you kind of feel inclined to just tell them like the smartest model, and
Ah,
then they go from there. But if you're trying to min max, right, and you
mm,
want to suggest like something that's like a low cost but like will get the job done, then you kind of need to have like a better idea of where everything stands for different problem areas. So it's nice
yeah,
to be able to have that, because I
yeah,
use that like all the time, right? Like I don't want to have to use like O4 mini and spend like $50 like for like a
yeah.
side project. Prefer
Easily.
Yeah, I prefer to not.
Maybe. Yeah, definitely. That's what one of my recent projects I have to be doing analysis of PDFs. Right. I'm right now. I'm doing like something similar to you, where I'm comparing all the Gemini models like there that
Mhm.
are publicly
Gemini's
available. It was what I've come to realize.
yeah,
But largely, I mean, I just kind of want them to just pick out specific information, and they're like super cheap, right? So that's
yeah,
why
yeah.
I'm using it.
Context. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for
Fair enough.
super long context, like for PDFs, they've been okay. And I'm just trying to find out right now, based on like this specific model against this specific PDF extractor, which one
Mhm.
is the best priced, as well as which one is gonna retrieve the most amount of relevant content. It's been very interesting. It's been very very interesting.
That sounds cool. What are you going to use that output for something else? Like what is that
Yeah.
for? Like a RAG
Yes.
solution or something?
Yeah. So it's a RAG solution. So the client I'm working with, they want me to instead. So what's going on with the client right now? They manually go through like large financial documents and pick out data. If you've ever read like NCB's annual report, it's
Oh, okay, 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 okay. I know what you're
right, yeah, yeah,
talking about. Okay, okay. Okay,
50
you
pages.
don't need to divulge anymore. Okay, okay.
Yeah, 50. So,
Yeah, I know what you're
So they used to manually go through like
saying.
NCB annual reports, bro, and pick out like data that they need.
Hmm.
It would take months for
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one report. So now I'm coming in and helping him fix that, and trying to now figure out, okay, how do we do this cheaply and fast?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good use case. It's a tough one though, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good use
yeah.
case.
It's been rough. I won't even lie to you, but it's a work in progress, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's continue on, man.
Cool. So that's why I determined I want to use 4.1
Mm-hmm.
for this, and then I guess all that's left would be like to just kind of walk through the code,
Mm-hmm.
which is like very simple actually. Let me see if there's anything in here. Um, this is all LLM generated.
Nah, that's fine.
Uh,
That's approved on this channel. You're fine.
cool. So I mean, one of the things I want to point out, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how many people use it. It's like defining like a schema. So if you're
Oh,
using like LLMs
yeah.
in like a deterministic fashion, you want to use like a well defined like schema that conforms to.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, I don't know if you've heard this. But I think they found that when you use like JSON mode, the performance is actually worse.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't. The quality of outputs is actually worse, and like the reasoning ability is like
Mm-hmm.
decreased. But
Interesting.
that's the trade off. I'm actually.
I honestly I don't mind. Like I would rather consistent, like deterministic for certain use cases,
Hmm.
obviously, rather than just like that kind of loose. We have to now start parsing the answer
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like yeah, so having structured output is game changer. Once I figured out that I could slap on like JSON and just get like this output every single time, I have not looked back. Like
yeah.
never
It's
looked back.
it's it's actually crazy. And they keep improving it. I think OpenAI is like still the leader in this regard, like in terms of like structured output. Um,
Definitely.
Claude, I thought it needs to work on it because they don't. You can suggest JSON output, and it's just a suggestion, right? It can sometimes deviate. That's pretty
Right.
frustrating. It doesn't have like support for some
Yeah.
particular features, like what the required fields are, enumerators, that kind of thing. So I think like it would be nice if like all models kind of got there. I know there is a library that you can use like in the middle.
Yeah. Instructor.
Instructor, is it
Yeah.
instructor? Was
Yeah,
it
there's a
plus
few of them. There's
supervisor?
instructor, there's guardrail, .py. There's a lot of
Yeah,
them. No.
yeah. So I mean, if you want to still use one of those models,
Mm.
use that as like an intermediary.
And there's
Um,
and there's also like LangChain. There's Pydantic.
on chain.
I
uh,
know. But hey, it gets the job done, right? It gets the
okay.
job done. It gets the job done.
But yeah, so that's like
Yeah.
a really good thing to keep in mind.
Hmm.
Um, one thing I did not use was like few shots. Like sometimes that's useful. But sometimes
Oh,
that.
explain to the viewer. Sorry to interrupt your thoughts.
Oh
What
yeah,
is future?
few shots. It's you give like example input, example output, so the model knows like how it should be going about like solving the problem they're presenting it. The problem with that though is you end up filling up your context with irrelevant details. So there's a cost trade off for that. Obviously you should do your testing to see if it's worthwhile. This was a particularly like simple use case for me, like that I found that performance was fine like without implementing that. So I
Mm.
did not opt for it, but yeah, that could be good if like it was like a higher complexity task.
No,
um
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Few shotting only comes in when I find when there's like complex reasoning at play where there's like subtle nuances that need to be
yeah,
considered. But for something like web scraping, you want it almost like as logical as possible. So I find that the using XML and structured JSON responses definitely hammers home like, this is what I want. This is only what I want. Please give
yeah,
me this. For
yeah.
sure.
Another thing, can you see?
Yeah, gonna zoom in like two times for us?
Yeah,
One more time.
yeah,
Yes, sick.
yeah. Like another thing that I use is that like obviously if you get like a failure. Like this is, I think it was OpenAI that introduced me to this library,
Mhm.
Tenacity. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, Tenacity. So
oh,
like,
such a good one.
yes, sometimes when like your request fails, it sucks to have to reprocess like a couple thousand records. So it's nice to have like a try catch and a retry mechanism like in your script to ensure like, hey, you have like a failback. So this will like you can use a couple features like, retry like 3 times. If there is if you hit like a rate limit, then you can like use like exponential weight, meaning that like, it won't just constantly pull the request. It will like wait like between each request if it's like a rate limit that you're hitting, for instance. And then you can see like the types of you can like set logic for the types of exception. So it's like a useful tool, like typically when you're using LLMs in a script. Yeah, Tenacity. I recommend it.
Yeah,
Um,
I recommend it as well. It's very, very good, man. I love it.
yeah. Let's see how many times I did this chat up completions. So one other thing that you might notice is that like I don't I break my tasks down for the LLM. So
Mhm.
I don't like just give it like everything in one go and like just ask like, hey, do this all at once for me. Like I'll break the task down. Because the smaller the scope, the less room it has for error.
Mm.
So even if it means like more requests, that should be okay because like your context is still like roughly the same size as if you had it in like one request.
Yeah,
Um, but you get the benefit of like being able to check it at each step, and it keeps it like focused basically. So like,
definitely.
mhm. I'd say breaking on your tasks is that useful.
Oh, bro, like I used to be a monolithic prompt kind of guy
Mhm.
before I figured out about like scoping and tasking. Especially there's this paper that came out the other day that I had skimmed over. It was like context rot or something like that along the lines of that.
Yeah,
Where,
dude, that
yeah,
shit scares me. It actually scares.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Trust. Like
it's very noticeable. It's very
very
noticeable.
wow.
It's really noticeable.
Like
Like
like the AI model will go from like Einstein to back of the class like after a while.
like Claude is like notorious for this, but they I think what they do now is they just kick you out of the conversation.
Like you don't matter anymore,
Yeah,
honestly. Like
it's
after all,
like
like, it's
yeah,
actually insane. So now, like once I, especially after I figured out that, because I was wondering, like after a while, I was like, why does this response is so dense? Like these responses
yeah,
don't like are sometimes irrelevant and super over eager. And then it's like
yeah,
once I figured out that there's context for it, I was like, it makes sense, right? Like with any kind of system, if there's too much information, it tends to degrade over time.
right.
So definitely once I figured it out and I started subtasking a lot of the tasks that I have, upside was insane. The like I largely do a lot of content pipelines. So instead of having like a editor, publisher, and drafter in one big monolithic prompt, right? It's spread across like multiple agents. And those agents sometimes are different models as well, who I find that perform a bit better for my use cases, etc. So yeah.
Which model have you found is the best like writer?
Raito, Def wow. Raito, Cloud 4. I love
Claude
Cloud.
4.
Yeah, I like Cloud 4. Like one of my posts recently did very well for me, like
Mhm.
also like really well. And I had Cloud4 interview me and write the LinkedIn post for me, and it did
That's
extraordinarily well.
cool. I feel like I think the last time I properly used it was Claude 3.5 or something. But I found the language was too flowery, but I
Mm,
think they probably toned it down now.
yeah,
The recent ones, and I
yeah.
think have you tried for Opus like 4?
Hey,
Um,
that thing requires me to sell my kidneys in order to be able to afford it. So no, I have not
really?
tried it.
Oh,
It's mad expensive, man. It's crazy. Like I have it on, mind you, I have it on like access to it via cursor
oh,
and
like
also
using it by the API. Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay, okay,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, I have Cloud Code as well, but still, like that thing
I haven't
eats
touched that
through.
actually. Because I'm afraid I'm afraid of the building. That's it. Yeah.
No, I mean they offer a subscription plan, right? Where you can pay $20 and you get like that like a certain
For
amount of
cloud
use.
code, really?
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm
I
on
did.
their 20 US plan, and like I get like usage, so I don't even have to use an API key.
That's cool. Okay, I actually did not know that. I'll probably check it out then.
Please.
I haven't touched it. You know,
And
most times I'm using it is like
mhm.
I'm still using it from like the chat. I'm still
Oh,
using it from the chat.
this
Um,
caveman.
yeah, no, I know. So yeah, breaking down your tasks obviously is beneficial. Is there anything else that's here? No, no. I think that's pretty much it. So this is like effectively doing what I set out to do
Right.
in the requirements doc, which is like it goes to the different sources for the treasury bills and the money market securities, which are like longer tenure, and
Mhm.
it pulls them out and gets the data, dumps into their respective folders,
Yeah.
and then it scrapes the data from it and puts it
Mhm.
in like a JSON doc.
That's sick.
Yeah, and then this actual web application is just reading from that JSON file, and
That's
that's pretty much it. Yeah, so
mhm.
pretty simple. Once you kind of know what you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is an amazing project, man. Like
Mm.
this is the stuff that I love to see, and like more of it that I believe Jamaica needs right now. Just more persons building, cause like yo, honestly, you could. As a matter of fact, I want you to ship this to the village.
I actually did.
Oh, you
I've been
did?
get around to it when I get back home. I'll probably
Please, please
yeah,
do.
yeah.
And when you get rich and famous in Parliament, please
Which I'm
remember.
famous for the
when you when you when you
All
buy
right.
the GLE and your Mish right out, please remember us small timers,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to work on them
Mm-hmm.
for like, your hobbies and your niches and
Yeah.
figuring out like where the boundaries are in terms of
Oh,
like what they
absolutely.
can do. It's cool. It's all
Mm.
cool.
Is there anything else you would want us to show us with this project as well?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's where it lands. There was something. No, no, I don't have
Mm.
anything right now.
Yeah, hey, Jordan, thank you so much for stopping by, man, and showing us, literally giving me a master class in Jamaican bonds. I have to go buy one now.
You should. It's cool. I mean, it's cool. I bought my first like
what,
a couple months ago, and it's like, but the process
what,
is like really archaic.
actually, take us through, take us
All
through
right,
the
so all
bond
right,
buying
first,
process. Mm.
you have to monitor um like the BOJ notices. It's like
Yeah.
every first week of the month or like the last week of the month they will announce that they're going to be listing this bond. The Bank of Jamaica sells the bonds for the government of Jamaica. You look at the bond like when the date is that it's supposed to be available,
Mm.
and then you need to send an email to
No
your
way.
you just said that. And if you don't have you need to have a Jam Clear account which they can set up for you.
Okay.
So they'll give you they'll send like a form, like a PDF form, and write out like this is how much I want to invest from this account, and this is the yield that I'm targeting. So it's actually not like it's like you see them mention here, Jam Clear. You need like a Jam Clear CSD account, but they can set
Yeah.
stuff for you.
Mhm.
Um,
How much does it cost to get that set up for me?
it's free. It's free, and the
Hear,
minimum
hear that, people?
is like 5 grand. So yeah, anybody can do it. Um, the thing is
What?
though, it's a bid. You can't
Mm-hmm.
you can say that you want to invest like 100 grand, but if you're demanding like a yield that's higher than like the market average, or you can probably just you can get priced out. Like you can like if everybody bids like lower than you,
Mm-hmm.
then so you need to kind of figure out like where it might land. So you can like have like a conservative bids. Like for instance, you can say for this 3 month treasury, like the bids that got like full allotment were between like 5% and 5.3%.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get allocation, you'd have need to like have your yield within that range. So stuff like that what you need to consider. But you can talk to your broker and they can suggest to you like a yield to bid at. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's cool. It's cool to be like a debt holder for the bank of for the government.
Yeah, for the
So,
government, like you have
yeah,
them, like
yeah,
yeah, I have your money. That's sick.
yeah. It
I
makes
mean, I wouldn't talk to my broker, not when I have a Jordan Barrett in my DMs.
no. But yeah, you should should. I mean, it's a fun process, and I think it would be
Yeah.
nice if the bond market were more liquid, with more individual participants. They're trying to get that. They've like
Mhm.
been lowering the minimums, for
Okay.
instance, and
Well,
I
I mean, you
think
just said 5 grand, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's like it's really accessible. Yeah, and it's also a great place to put your money, as
Mhm.
opposed to putting your money in like a fixed deposit and earning 3% a year.
Yeah.
Here, put it here and earn like 5%. It's as domestically, it's as risk free as it would get. I'm
Right.
not a
Right.
financial advisor, but that's just I'm not a,
Disclaimer.
I'm not a financial advisor. I don't even have
Definitely
a
not.
degree in finance, right? Talk to your
For
broker,
sure. No,
please. But it's
that's
cool.
that
It's
is
cool.
sick. What I'm gonna do with this, because I love this so much and
Mhm.
just how like different it is. We're gonna have to do a follow up to this where we just deep dive on the bond buying process. Like you take me through, and I
Mhm.
buy a bond, and we just showcase persons like
Yeah.
like
All right.
we're gonna do that, bro. Like I feel like that would be so sick. Like that would be so cool to figure out how we could probably add AI to automate like the email.
Yeah.
No.
Listen, I'm trying to cozy up with my investment advisor because
Mhm.
I would like her to start receiving emails from like GPT 5 or whatever. My stock buying process and my
Yeah.
buying process. Like that would be cool. It would be a cool article as well.
There we go. So that's the next one that's coming up soon, people. No, I love this. Jordan, thank you so much again, big man, for coming through and just
Yeah, no problem.
teaching us so much about bonds and just the different ways on how to structure your code as well for success. Definitely, I think a lot of persons who are into vibe coding will understand that. Plan a little bit first before we embrace the vibe. Yeah, man. So let us know, where can people find you online, my guy?
I LinkedIn. That's
LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah. Send me a connection request. I'd like to build an audience there.
Sick.
Jordan Barrett JM.
Jordan.
That's it.
Jordan
That's it.
Barrett, JM. Jordan, thank you so much for coming out. Really
Yeah.
appreciate you, big
Thanks
man.
for having me, man. All right. Bye.
Peace.